why bring James Felton on as a guest, right? So I first became aware of you. I saw a tweet of yours, must be a couple of years ago now, in response to, I think it was a Vote Leave or a Leave HQ tweet. And it was like the Leave HQ tweet was something along the lines of like, you know what, I'm falling out of love with Brexit. And I won't be held responsible for the mess that it's become. And frankly, Remainers have to take some responsibility. Like, they were trying to sort of like offload the responsibility for the chaos that is Brexit. And I remember you tweeted back to this account saying like, big, which one of you cowards shit my pants energy.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
And I was like, oh, it's one of the, every now and then you get one of these tweets where you read it and you're like, like the chef's kiss. It's like, whoa, beautiful. So that was how I first became aware of you, was via Twitter. And then, I noticed that you had garnered quite a following. And then from there on, I realized that you'd written these books. And but I'm not really aware of what your background was, like if you had gotten into comedy writing, or if it was like the radio comedy came first, or was it the books? And so I guess like this is a really long way of me saying, can you give us a bit of an intro, like where you've come from?
Cool, yeah. I think that's how everyone's route to finding me is me writing about shitting pants, and then they find the rest of the stuff from there. But background, I was trying to be a comedy writer for many, many years, and so I entered a competition for the BBC, which is just writing comedy. Right. From there, a producer kind of let me write on her shows whenever I begged. And so I did that for years, but nothing really took off. Okay. And then suddenly I just started tweeting a lot. And around the time of the around the time of the referendum, and people seem to like my tweets from there, and it's that's really kind of led to everything else. And then suddenly I've got books, got followers that pick up my books first and then follow me and that kind of thing, which is really good. Then slowly moved away from the politics in terms of my books and just started going to the stuff that I really like, which is kind of the abject nonsense, that kind of thing. Weird tales from history, stuff like that.
I see. Okay, so I suppose it's an interesting kind of career path, isn't it? And it's one of the rare upsides, if you like, or upticks of social media, because it gets such a bad rep for a lot of like great reasons. It has a shitty reputation. But in terms of like your career trajectory, to have gone from sort of relative obscurity and the experience that you've just sort of touched on yourself in terms of, you had some exposure to radio comedy, and that was kind of, teetering along to some extent. But then once you went on Twitter, it's kind of ballooned and exploded and provided you with a lot of opportunity. And that's something that would not happen historically, right? If you'd come up in like the 80s or the 90s, you'd just be...
Yeah, I'd been known. I mean, not many people, I'm sure not that many people have heard of me off of Twitter, but yeah, no one would have heard of me. Like I technically had a BAFTA for about 3 years, and obviously no one had heard of me. And then I start tweeting about pan shitting, and suddenly you know who I am. But no, I would have died in obscurity in the 80s.
Did you ever do open mic comedy at all, or?
I did, yeah. Did it? I did it for quite a while. I'm quite a shy guy, to be honest, so I hated every second of it. But it was all right. And then I had one terrible gig and just panicked. After that, just never did it again. Yeah. Told her. Just basically ran off the stage.
It's one of the sort of like, I mean, I don't know how bad that gig was for you, or like what the general atmosphere was, but it's one of the sort of
pretty violent.
Was it? Like something like Workers' Club in Millwall. You were standing there doing your well thought through, like introspective, cerebral routine. Like, get the fuck off the stage. Like, all right, maybe comedy isn't for me.